Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another podcast episode on this channel. Today, I feel like we're going to have similar vibes to the Be the Unattractive Woman and the Shift Your Rage Where It Belongs because I'm just feeling like, you know, especially after that last story time. If you haven't watched that, you should go watch it when you're done. I want to start this video off with connecting it to a point that I have seen in another conversation about my intersectionality, okay? We know the whole social media cancel culture of like, this person's old tweets, this person had said the N-word, this, and they're all like, oh, I was just a kid. I was literally a kid. You was in high school though. High school is still a kid, but like you saying something like that at 10 versus 17 is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? How there's so many people, and it's very like hard for my community to trust people outside of it because we be thinking you all cool and then we say stuff and all that. And how we say how this is people's first excuse. Like, I was younger, I was a kid, whatever. I learned from my mistakes. That was my phase. And people are like, when you do problematic stuff, you have a racist phase. Mind you, that is a black child's or black person's real experience. You get to leave your phase, but that is something that can contribute to their racial self-esteem, that can contribute to how they feel about themselves. That could have been a pivotal point in like, but it was just a phase. It was just a phase, right? And we've been clocking how the math isn't mathing and how I feel like stuff like that needs to be more taken seriously and holding people more accountable, which obviously I'm here to agree about. I'm right here. I'm a black woman. But like I said, my intersectionality, I thought about that. I thought about how it's so true to hold people accountable and all that. And I was like, I want to take it even a step farther, like I said, with the other side of my identity. How I was like, I think that this is a good way, not that we need to be explaining, okay? Whenever it comes to marginalized groups of, oh, can you teach me or can you tell me how that was, blah, blah, blah. While I do think it's important to learn stuff from marginalized groups, also, we don't owe you anything. We don't always have to tell you why, blah, 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 blah. Google is free. Pay attention to history class. But if you were to explain this in the context of men and misogyny, I feel like this would be such a good way to put it, in that we also should be holding people accountable. Misogyny and racism, especially for me as a person living in the US, are 100% taught, but there's also a difference of it subconsciously being in you. You may be saying the wrong things and people being like, hey, this is that, and you being like, wow, won't say that again. This is again why a lot of times I don't be having sympathy for people like that, because multiple people told you to stop. People in your real life told you to stop. I've had experiences as a girl who grew up PWI telling people to stop. They don't care to stop until there's like a real something that can be taken away for their behavior. And that's the issue. And so in terms of misogyny for this, I was like, I feel like when we're raising young boys and talking to men about these things, this is also a way we should be presenting things to them. Your phase of, talking to women crazy, sexualizing women, um, you know, even people who like say their abuse and their fist ways were their past when they didn't know any better. This is like, I have a bone to pick with these two, because again, oh, your phase of, yeah, I used to treat women so bad and blah, blah, but I'm better now and I learned. Again, we see in relationships, we see in young girls, we see in like, again, all across age ranges when it comes to women, your little phase of, oh, sorry, yeah, I was real bad by then, again, is someone's life memories that they hold on to that contribute to how they feel about themselves, that contribute how they approach things and love and men again. But that was just your phase, right? Okay. Okay. I think this is the way, especially as generations go on. Obviously, my generation of children will have the internet a lot worse than I have it, but digital footprints is how we should be talking about people like this. Like, With anything, I found this account recently. I think I'll plug it if I can remember. I just followed them on Instagram, so I should find it. I see this amazing man teaching young kids, but especially I see like it's a lot of young black boys, which really warms my heart, about consent in different ways and how like when someone tells you something is wrong, when someone tells you something is no, like that is the complete. Like you don't need an explanation. Women don't owe you an explanation. Like he just teaches it in such a kid-friendly way, and all the comments are like, do they have that class for adults? Do they have that class for politicians, for presidents, perhaps? And I'm just like, things like that matter. They're not only benefiting these young little boys about how to just be respectable and respect people in general, you are preventing young girls from harm, of experiencing boys who don't listen to no, boys who make them over explain, boys who make uncomfortable. Like you are benefiting both sides of this gender war. And I think that account is like so beautiful to me. So when it comes to this analogy, that black people and that I've thought of specifically as a black woman intertwining both parts of my intersectionality, I am aware that not everyone is perfect, right? Not everyone is perfect. Not everyone is taught things in home. A lot of that's the problem. Like I talk about in a lot of my podcast episodes, these cycles go on because dumb people have kids that turn out to be dumb people. Like, they could come from homes where people are using slurs, homes where people are treating women like that. But the thing is like I said, when you're scared to use things or to act places or to act certain ways in different places, or when you know something can be taken away from you, there's still a little inkling that you know it's wrong. Like I said, going back to the first example, how you'll see some people using slurs, but like around like their friends and their people, but like they would be too scared if I walked in the room. Okay, so obviously, it's wrong. Or there's some people, who might be bold enough to use stuff around me, but if it's around me and a man who could maybe beat their, then maybe they'd tighten up. You know what I'm saying? But I truly do not think it is that hard, no matter what your age at, to find out that if something has roots in harm, something that you're saying is harmful, it is so easy to learn before you learn from your mistakes. Like, for example, I remember growing up and hearing the C word from Asian people, right? If you guys don't know what the C word is, if y'all remember how that girl from Love Island got canceled, okay, right, right, right. I grew up hearing that. Within that community, I had no idea that word was a slur. Like I didn't really like indulge in it or anything. But I was like, I remember when I got to high school and we were reading about these things, the Japanese internment, the Chinese exclusion acts and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's what that means? Me over here whole time thinking people were just using it as a casual describing word. And I'm like, it's literally like a slur and I didn't even know that. I was like, oh, like again, I never really indulged in that before, but I was like, I definitely know to tell someone that's wrong if I see it and to like never let that come out of my mouth because that has harm and that has roots. You see how easy that was? You know how many people in high school did not respect mine? Everybody's favorite word that starts with N. When I would be like, that's wrong, that makes me uncomfortable. Okay, but anywhere they're in a space that they feel they're comfortable for to do it, they do it. Mind you, me, I don't care who's around. I would never say that. And that's the real tea. And I feel like tying it back to misogyny, again, deep rooted, obviously not just in this country, across many countries, you know, tribes, whatever, but not sometimes, but not always. Because we also know that a lot of deep rooted misogyny, high key, does come from colonization. We see a lot of ancient um, civilizations, like me back in the motherland, when you look at parts of Africa where it was very normal to have female leaders. You look at Hawaii, their last ruler was a female leader. But post-colonization stuff got a little sticky. So yeah, it poisoned everything, and now it's everywhere. It is everywhere, and it is very normalized. But there's still, like I said, some things that you hear girls say, I don't like that. You shouldn't say that. This is derogatory. And like I said, some men don't care. Like they just don't want to say it. Like, for instance, the B word, okay? Again, this ain't the place for you. Like I said in my last video, if you're not here to hear a woke black woman, okay? The B word is used by tons of different genders. Obviously, we hear it in music from men a lot, from women a lot too, but the first time I ever heard the B word, it was probably from a man, right? And I feel like generally as a woman, you're taught, if you have somewhat of a girl trying to unlearn the thing, it's like, don't date a man who would ever call you that. If a man ever calls you that, don't break up with him, run, that's so disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. But I want to take it even a step further, that I feel like I didn't think that deep into this in my past. Because obviously, like I said, I unlearn more and get more picky as I grow up and learn how all this stuff is ridiculous. Yeah, I've never let someone I've dated ever call me that. But I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, why would I even date a man where that's in his vocabulary? You know what I'm saying? Why would I even date a man who, like, when he's describing another girl or describing another thing, like, why is, let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. Like we see in these debates, especially where I live in the US, there is no worse slur than the N-word. When you look at the history of this country, the history of my people, all the stuff we've been through, how, like, if you are here to argue with that, even though I don't like Oppression Olympics, just be for real, okay? So I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to compare. But again, literally when I think about my intersectionality, I'm like, but why would I date someone who uses that? Like, who would even call other women that? Like, I'm getting that woke in my feminism. I don't care if you don't like her. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. There's so many other ways you can describe, like, someone that you don't like or someone that did you dirty without that. Like, I really feel like I'm at that point. Because that's kind of embarrassing. Like, again, I think of so many things that I've dealt with because, like I said, how the patriarchy got us messed up bad, thinking so much stuff is normal when you step back and realize it's not normal, that I'm like, no, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy for a man to just genuinely be talking like that. And you trying to be my man? My son would never. I'm raising a black king, huh? A respectable young man. Think about these things, the more my brain develops, getting close to that. Am I that close, y'all? I'm 23. Am I getting that close to that quarter life, 25, where your brain fully develops? But I don't know, like, I feel like especially this past year being single and actually not having to deal with any man really just makes me stricter and stricter about what is actually insane. Like, that we're taught is normal or like is okay. Um, and I love it. I think, like I said in the last video and in this one, I'm sure there are a lot of people, especially men, but and women too, because like I said, how these things are ingrained or something like that, where I'm like, I don't want a man who would ever use that derogatory term against women is going to be like, that's doing too much. It's everywhere. It's in songs. Like, that doesn't mean they're all okay. Well, good thing it's not your life. Good thing it's not your life. And I also feel like if I were to be in a relationship with someone like that, and I would explain that, like, you know what, I don't like that. Like, I don't think you should be, for obvious reasons, because everyone knows it's derogatory towards women, and a man had a problem with that and couldn't look inward at, again, the things he's been taught to normalize and been like, like, you're right. Like, I shouldn't be saying that, and get defensive and think they're entitled. Like, is crazy. Like, I don't know, y'all. I just feel like angry is a term, again, used highly for my intersectionality of being black and a woman, but it's also so often used for women who just want to be treated like human beings. And I have no problem with that label. If that's what it takes, angry women, I feel like literally make the world go round. And I'm glad, like, how I built my For You page brick by brick about learning new things and having new revelations, where it's just like, the more you hear, the more stories, the more statistics I see, it's like, yeah, we're not angry enough. Like, literally, in my Shift Your Rage Where It Belongs, I've talked about how I have no problem with that label. And I honestly think anyone who gets that label, it's pretty respectable, because people who got angry are the people who made change. Like I said, especially with my history, if no one got like angry and was like, I want to sit at the same table as them, I'm tired of dealing with this, we're tired of all the isms and phobias and being treated like less, like, do you not remember, like, remember when there was literally a law that said I counted as 3/5 as a person in this country? Imagine if they didn't want to change that. I would still be in the same boat. So I literally don't care about being labeled angry, blah, blah. We should be angrier. And people like that make change. Like, I literally see these stories. I'm so glad to be a Southern California. I love my country, California. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you guys who aren't in California, but like how even though the country's getting a little, like, my state is a little bit, but I'm so sick of seeing these stories of women in other states where these, laws are up to the state, who are no longer with us because people refuse to help them because they are scared of these bans, or people who are choosing to help these women so they don't, or end up with major health complications, and they're being put into jail. And you guys think, oh, we've came so far, like, women can have the same jobs and make around the same pay and open their bank accounts. Yeah, we have come far, but then you see stories like that. It's a balance. Like I said, I'm so glad of the people before me who did the work and made the changes. But like, people, especially people in a place of privilege, like to think that we're at peak. We're at peak. Like, what? What do you mean I don't have rights over my own body if I needed some care in Georgia or something like that? That I could be gone just like that because no one wants to help me. Right? Oh, women are so equal. Would a man have to deal with that though? No. No, 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 no. I love you, woman. I love you, fellow other angry women. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm literally the middle child and the youngest girl in my family, so I feel like it was just, I was just gonna come out like this. I love women, I love black women, I love queer women, I love all of us. And yeah, also with being like this though, and growing up and unlearning these things, depending on the cultures or the area, or even if you're in a different country, there can be so many different people who make you feel insane for how you feel. Like, how dare you dismantle systems that were meant to keep you down? People will look at you crazy for wanting more, again, because they think we already have so much. Who cares? Who cares? I'm here to say I'm so proud of you if you are using your voice, whether that's on a talking to a camera and on a sharing it scale as me, or in your communities against your family calling out the BS. I'm so proud of you. I support you. You're not doing too much. You're not any of that. Because like I said, again, this is the same way people back then who made changes, who gave me the rights I have today, were looked at like, oh, how dare you want to change that? And look what happened. And they did it. And they did it. I also think a lot of people think that people like me, you, whatever, who call these things out are just here for no reason. Like I said, if there wasn't something wrong, something to call out, people love to be like, people will call anything out. People will find a problem with anything. Well, when we have deep-rooted misogyny and all these isms and stuff, there is issues with a lot of things. Like, if you guys aren't new here, I think one of these pivotal things, like, again, that made me this way, especially me coming from a two-parent household with a great dad, a great role model, who I didn't hear these things in the home. I started hearing all these things when I went outside and dealt with real men. Like my experiences with men, with relationships, and being like, is the way I am who who I am. I made a video I think 2 weeks ago called How SA Changed My Life. Like I am a victim of an abusive relationship, of sexual abuse and all those things. And stuff like that is literally the reason that we have to keep calling these things out. I'm so thankful. I'm almost 3 years out of that space, but I'm so tired of seeing this happening to other girls. I'm so tired of knowing that other people experience this as children way younger than me. Like, yeah, there's every right, you know? And I think I mentioned this in one video before, but see, people speaking like this again is the reason. There was this guy who was mutuals with me, and I think about a year post my abusive relationship, I was making a video talking about it, and he'd been following me for like 2 years, so he had seen me like in the relationship and post breakup, and I was basically talking about it and talking about the essay, overcoming it being like that. Mind you, just a mutual online. Never met this man in real life. He literally commented like, was the stuff that happened in your relationship really essay, or like were you just in love and there was like miscommunication? I'm sorry. Did he think he ate? Did he think he ate? So obviously I respond to him. I'm like, I said what I said. Like, but I DM him angrily. Because again, like I said, people like this aren't gonna learn. Like, of course, again, it's not up to you to educate people if you don't want to. But I had time that day. I was like, why are you commenting something like that? Knowing you, just because you saw pictures, videos of my relationship, you're not the person in it. Why would I just be saying that if that's not what it was? And he was like, no, you're right. Like, I'll delete it. I just felt, you just felt, you felt something because I was talking about my essay experience. But anyway, because my friend recently just got accused of that and I know it wasn't true, and it caused so much backlash on his end. Again, all these internalized things. How do you know it wasn't true? Were you the girl? Were you the person in that thing? Okay, like this is like when I talk about, even though SA happens to men, women, non-binary people, everyone in between, if you've experienced that, hugs, I'm so sorry, you deserve better. Fists, all that, whether it was a man, woman, non-binary person who did that, okay. Even though it happens to a lot of people, I feel like the focus of a lot of these conversations is to women, right? Because this is the typical dynamic, primarily where it started, and again, who has like the power dynamic in these situations. I'm so tired of comments like that and people feeling like we have to coddle people who are young men who don't know any better. Because I remember one time I was thinking about my experience and I had this like, because as an SA victim, a lot of times you question yourself and you question your experience of like, was it that bad or was it a misunderstanding? I was past that thing of trying to make excuses for my abuser. So as soon as he said that comment, because I spent years feeling like that and having shame, you're not about to comment that on my video. But I was in my abusive relationship from 19 to 20. I remember when I was 18, I was dating with this guy. I was dating this guy, so even younger, even younger. I remember like a time when something has started, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I giggle when it comes to this. Not, you guys will see, not the abuse topic, but like the freaky topic. Okay. Specifically remember a memory with that guy when something started. Uh, if that, that visual gives you any context, I remember being like, it was kissing, went to that, and I was like, wait, like it's something we already done. But I was like, wait, I don't want to do that yet because like your mom is still here. Like we're 18, we're at the house, she was still home. I was like, I don't want to like do all that while someone's still here. I remember he was literally like I don't mind, and I was like, no, yeah, but I do, like I just would rather wait. Want to know what this man said? This 18-year-old boy, he got up immediately, pulled, and just laid next to me. Oh, a lot of times people are too young to understand. Literally, as soon as I said I was uncomfortable because of whatever reason, cool, done. In the next relationship where I was 1 or 2 years older than that, a man where I was like, I don't want to do this because of this reason. What did he do? He said, ignored me and kept going, right? So there's people don't understand. I was like, I have two different experiences from one even younger of a younger man literally understanding it doesn't matter if I don't know she doesn't want to do that. But an older person in an older relationship felt I want to do it, so I'm gonna do it. This is why. Stop making excuses for not only these men, but like I said, abusers as a whole. You, if you've ever done something to someone like that. So yeah, to all my young women out there, young people, like listen to people who are different than you when they say something is harmful, when they say something is not okay, like the first time. Like you could be stubborn about like it's just crazy again how when it comes to like racism and misogyny, people be trying to compare it to like little stuff that kids always do. Like I told him not to eat that candy bar because he got in trouble and he still did, right? Not I told you and explained to you how this is harmful, how this very important thing is harmful. Like people be trying to act like it's like, you know, um, it's not hard. Do better. All of us can do better in some way. And like I said, I love opinionated, hangry women who tie everything back to the isms, blah, 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 because I'm with all that. And also, I feel like a disclaimer I have to make sometimes, even when I make videos about women. Don't be coming over here with the homophobia, transphobias, or anything like that. Women like that are not welcome here. This is always a safe space for my LGBTQ plus community. Okay? But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to another podcast episode. I hope this resonated with you. You know, you could take away something from this. And yeah, don't forget to hype this video. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.